Antarang, a cultural club. Students also participate in NSS activity, student and faculty make us proud by winning awards at international and national levels. Our alumni are successfully working in PWD, Central Railways, PCMC, Water Resource Department, MS from reputed foreign university, MTech from IIT, NIT, and also successful in private sectors. Civil Engineering at Dr. D.Y. Patil Institute of Technology, Pimpri, a step towards excellence. Dr. D.Y. Patil Institute of Technology, Pimpri is ranked in first 200 colleges in India, fourth in SPPU by NIRF, NAC, A-grade institute with all programs NBA accredited. Civil Engineering offers UG with 120 intake, PG in Construction Management, PhD in Research Center affiliated to SPPU. The department is endowed with high-caliber team of professionally inclined faculty members. The department has state-of-art infrastructure and well-equipped laboratories like testing of material laboratory with universal testing machine, surveying laboratory, concrete technology laboratory, fluid mechanics laboratory, transportation engineering laboratory, environmental engineering laboratory, engineering geology laboratory, projects in the field of structural engineering, water resources, environmental engineering, concrete technology, transportation engineering. Projects are industry sponsored based on societal needs and technical solution to real life problems. Students enthusiastically exhibit their project in front of experts. Such platform boosts their confidence. Of Excellence by Dr. Fixit in Also, the sessions by industry expert, training programs, workshops, seminars. Civil engineering cannot be learned in four walls of classroom. Hence, the department provides internship program to students and ensures that every student do it effectively. Some of internship platforms are Pune Metro, BAI, L&T, Shirke Constructions. During this COVID pandemic, department has provided online internship to the students, placement in core companies and software companies as per students' interest. Learning by involvement is the best technical knowledge. Teamwork and communication, presentation skills, model exhibition. To keep the pace with advanced technology, software training are conducted regularly. Site visit to construction site, airports, water treatment plants, dams are conducted regularly. The department has established International Student Chapter with ASCE, Institute of Engineers India, SESA, Civil Engineering Student Association, Srushti, an Environmental and Social Awareness Club, Antarang, a cultural club, students also participate in NSS activity. Student and faculty make us proud by winning awards at international and national levels. Our alumni are successfully working in PWD, Central Railways, PCMC, Water Resource Department, MS from reputed foreign university, MTech from IIT, NIT, and also successful in private sectors. Civil Engineering at Dr. D.Y. Patil Institute of Technology, Pimpri, a step towards excellence. Dr. D.Y. Patil Institute of Technology, Pimpri is ranked in first 200 colleges in India, fourth in SPPU by NIRF, NAC, A-grade institute with all programs NBA accredited. Civil Engineering offers UG with 120 intake, PG in Construction Management, PhD in Research Center affiliated to SPPU. The department is endowed with high-caliber team of professionally inclined faculty members. The department has state-of-art infrastructure and well-equipped laboratories like testing of material laboratory with universal testing machine, surveying laboratory, concrete technology laboratory, fluid mechanics laboratory, transportation engineering laboratory, environmental engineering laboratory, engineering geology laboratory, projects in the field of structural engineering, water resources, environmental engineering, concrete technology, transportation engineering,
Yes, good afternoon, one and all. We'll begin with the session. Good afternoon. So our expert has joined and we'll begin with the session. So a very good afternoon to one and all present. I, Miss Aboli Ravikar, Assistant Professor in Civil Engineering Department at Dr. D.Y. Patil Institute of Technology, Pimpri, Pune, warmly welcome our today's expert, Engineer Rohit Sharma sir, and all my dear students for the webinar on recent trends in project management. Effective construction project management benefits the owners by increasing the potential for successful project completion on time, within budget, and is free of financial or legal complications. Construction project management is particularly vital to large-scale projects that have more potential for problems that could significantly delay the project and cost money. Interacting with an industry expert with regards to the recent trends in the field, it will be helpful for you students to get the insights of the subject in depth and also the importance of it from the viewpoint of your career. So now, my dear students, I will take a leave from Mike and let you enjoy your time here. Wishing you a wonderful time here and hope that at the end of the day, you will have something good to share with us. Thank you for being a patient listener. Now, before beginning to the session, I would request all the candidates to switch on their videos for a group photo. Yes, the photos are taken. Now I request Rohit sir to begin with the session. Now I would request Miss Neha ma'am to introduce our today's expert, Mr. Rohit Sharma sir.
Thank you, Abuli ma'am. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Welcome, Rohit sir. Let me introduce Rohit sir. Rohit sir is currently working as a PMO leader in Adidas LLC UAE. He has completed his bachelor's in civil engineering from Pune University in the year 2012 and master's in construction management from our college, Dr. D.Y. Patil Institute of Technology, Pimpri, in the year 2015. Sir has a good knowledge of various civil engineering softwares like MSP, Primavera, AutoCAD, Revit, BIM, and many more. He has a vast industrial experience of over 9 years, and his area of expertise lies in transformation and PMO development, project portfolio management, contract administration, resource optimization, risk management, process improvement, and conflict management. Sir has also published a research paper titled Green Building Lead Certification and done various certification courses, to name a few, like PGMP, PMP, CICCM, and LLSYB. So we are grateful to have such a dynamic personality with us to guide our students and give them a practical knowledge about the project management. So now may I request to Rohit sir to take over the session. Welcome, Rohit sir.
Thank you, ma'am. I would like to thank HOD Madam Dr. Deepa Joshi, Department of Civil Engineering, DYPIT. I would like to thank faculty coordinators, Ms. Aboli Ravekar and Mrs. Sneha Badekar. I'm really delighted to be part of this session. To start with, I would like to say a few words that I was approached by Ms. Neha Badekar regarding this session, and our viewpoint was to give a session on what is happening in the industry of project management and how, while during the studies, maybe few of them are doing the bachelor's, few of them doing the master's, during the study, how you can relate what you're studying along with what exactly practically happening around the world, and how can we contribute and enhance our skill while studying to be a part of this market. To be very honest, I would like to start with that. When I was approached, I was very delighted as well as a little fearful, with the reason that I have not given any sessions before, and I'm definitely don't have any teaching experience. So what I thought that I will bring in this session is like I will be talking casually about my experience, my journey through once I did my graduation and master's from DY Patil, how my journey have been and what are the things I have learned during my course of professional experience, so that I still remember when I was in master's and I had these questions continuously, that what we are studying and what we are reading at the moment, how it will be applicable in the real world. So now, having passed this 9-10 years in profession, I can give some insights on that. So my session, this session will be regarding that. I would love if everyone can be this can be an interactive session. I'll be requesting few questions from you during the session as well, so that I can understand what I'm talking about is making some sense, or what is your feedback on that. So I hope, I think we do have a raise hands available over here, right? So if something is asked, I would love if you can, even if it's not asked, you can raise your hand and ask some questions during the session as well. So that will be even helpful. To start, let me share a screen. I have prepared a small presentation.
Good afternoon, Rohit. Very nice to see you.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. After a long time.
After a long time, and really feeling great that you are there to guide our students.
Yes, ma'am. It's my pleasure. Actually, when I was approached, I was thinking about that only, that when I was studying, I had always continuously had these questions in my mind that, what is coming ahead, what is exactly real, how the projects are being carried out.
Right.
It would be nice to give some insights. Yeah. It will be helpful for the students. Let's see.
True. So now your projects are going on in Dubai, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah.
At the moment, actually, I'm working for a refrigeration industry.
Okay.
We are a contracting firm who design, build, install and commission the projects.
Okay. Entire thing.
Yes, and my role is a planning engineer in a PMO department.
Okay.
Being a contracting company, we handle multiple projects together. So it's sort of a project management as well as a portfolio management. Today we'll focus on one of the projects where I can give some insights how we are dealing with the project separately.
Right. So you're getting great exposure, right? I mean, it's a huge amount of learning. Challenges, of course, challenges must be there.
Yes.
Along with that.
challenges and opportunities, they both come hand in hand, right?
Yeah, true.
Say if we are willing to take the challenges, opportunities will come. And I was actually very lucky, I would say, that I could get a chance to come in this part of the world where I can take the exposure.
Mm.
And I have been into two industries. That is one of learning which I now, being a project manager or PMO leader in a refrigeration industry is a little different from the civil industry.
Right.
Sense of
Yeah,
management.
you please start with your session, and then basically, I mean, we would like that we'll have some more kind of association of yours with the with our institute. You are our own
Absolutely.
students, so we
Yes,
can
ma'am.
with right, we can
Definitely.
tell you that. Yeah. So, but still, I'm requesting, okay, and we'll have some more kind of things in association with our department and your industry. I mean, wherever, whatever possible, things will go ahead with that kind of thing. Yeah.
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So please start with your session. Yeah.
Okay. I hope you can see my screen, all of you.
Yeah, it is visible, sir.
So I have first, let's go through the structure of the session, the way we have designed, so that we understand what all things that we will be discussing in this session. So let's I have stepped it, pointed down. I'll be introducing you about myself, and like I said, a journey, what I have been in my professional experience, and how different skills and competencies have been acquired during your professional career. And the same skills can be acquired during your studies as well, if you know what's coming ahead. After that, we'll be defining few terms. This session is all about projects and project management. So we'll define few terms. What is project management? We'll not go very theoretical, but we'll just have few basic understanding, so that we can take that understanding across in this session. Then I'll give you a few details about what is PMI and what is Pmbok. PMI and Pmbok, I have been very closely associated with them. So I'll give you some insights on that also. And the main part of this session will be the practical experience and challenges of a project management. I'll guide you through what we'll take a case study of one of the project which we have been doing in our company, and we'll go through that. To start with, I would like to speak about myself. I have done my graduation in civil engineering from Pune. I have stayed there for 8.5 years, and I did two professional courses, 2 professional degrees, and 3.5 years of experience. My first experience came in 2013 when I was working in the construction industry in Pune. It was a contracting firm. We were working, the name of the organization is Vishka Realty. I went there as a very fresh graduate after my graduation, and I got experience mostly from the site, where I was learning about estimation, budgeting, and I was fortunate enough to have a contact in the office as well, where I could learn the procurement part and planning part of the industry, like what happens in the projects, and what kind of planning is required for what kind of project is there. So I worked there for 3.5 years, and we had, this is one of the project that we did in Tahiri, Sai Avishkar. I was fortunate enough to get an opportunity where I was picked by another organization in UAE, and I came to UAE. The name of the organization was Tirazo LLC. It was again a construction industry, and it was a contracting firm. What our company does is the external part of the fascia, external cladding of the building. So I was involved in the project Burj Vista. My experience again here was since I had an experience in planning and estimation, I came here to as a planner only, and this is where I got introduced and got exposure into another competency called methodology, to understand how do you plan your project is more of about methodology that you adopt in order to build your project, rather than having numbers on paper. So this is where I got a core competency on methodology. And I came to know about that. I saw in this project, this very building which we have in front of us is a 66 tower building. It was managed by a person, again, he was from India. And I realized that he is not from engineering background. So he has done all his life, it was an economics background. He did his MBA, and then he was a PMP certified professional. That's where I got introduced to this certification, and I got an understanding of the subject that project management is not it's not a skill as well. It's a separate industry. And I did a certification from PMI for PMP and got experience in this project, which led me to understand that project management, you can have a, it broaden your horizon of expertise. So if you deal into project management, if you understand the language of project management, if you understand the processes which are built in the project management, you can shift from one industry to another industry as well, because project and their I would say the attributes remain same. You still manage the of project. So idea of managing a project has not been limited to a specific industry. If you understand one project, you can understand another project also. This led me to the third organization which I am working at the moment. This organization is Adidas, and this is a refrigeration industry. Again, it's built in Dubai, UAE, and I'm working again as a PMO leader over here, where I have actually explained a little while ago as well that it's a contracting company who builds industrial refrigeration plants, and we give the product as cooling of cold stores and skis in Dubai. So this is a picture of one of the project of this organization where this is the first inbuilt ski built in a desert in Dubai. This is Ski Dubai. Now, I would like to, like we said, before going ahead and discussing about a practical experience of the projects, I would like to have some understanding of feedback from your point of view, that what do you understand from the project? Any one of you who would like to answer on this is welcome. You can, I think, unmute yourself also and read.
Sir, can I?
Yes.
Sir, project is a piece of, it is a work, sir, we done by a group or peoples in a time, or by any by planning and to achieve our goals from the work.
Okay. Anyone else? If anyone else want to give some more feedback on this, what I understand from Nakul is you're talking about it's a work which is done by putting some resources and with the virtue of some efforts, and you come from point A to point B to achieve something, right?
Yes, sir.
So we'll go ahead. I'll talk about this. What PMI talks about as a project. There's a definition to that. It's very similar to what Nakul has said. So I would say it's a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. What do we understand from this is 2 or 3 basic things about a project. That anything, first of all, a project should have a start and an end. Anything, it has to be temporary. If it is a continuous thing, then it's not a project. We have to call it something else. The project is anything which will, and also it will give you a unique product. If you are building something again and again on the same to give you the same product or same service, it will be called operations. So a project will be something which will deliver some value to you. It should be unique. It should be temporary in the nature, and it should be it should have a start and end point. Few examples of this, we'll have a discussion on that so that we can differentiate what is a project, what is operations, what is portfolio, but we'll focus mostly on the projects to have a few examples on that. If you see, these are 3 examples we can see over here. All projects must have a beginning and end. That's one thing what we discussed about it. And if you see, one of the example is the polio vaccination. Here, I would like to differentiate that creation of a vaccination. Nowadays, I think everyone is talking about the COVID vaccine. From past 2 or 3 years, there have been so many multiple vaccines which have been developed. So a manufacturing of those vaccinations would not be called a project. It will be operations. But in order to create a vaccine, which eventually will give you, which will solve a problem, right? Like COVID. So the creation of that vaccination can be called as a project. On the second example, we can see it's a pyramid of Giza. This example I have put specifically to make few things clear. That okay, second one is this is the construction project. This again has a temporary endeavor. It had a start time. It was started building. It was finished building, and it gives you a unique product. And another reason of putting this as an example is to make you understand that this was built 4,000 years ago. So project is not something new. It has been there forever. It's just the understanding of understanding of this subject and making it a separate field gives you more insight. That is something new. That is called project management. Third example over here is another a development of software. To clarify further, again, this is a software. Maybe it's a creation of solar wind analysis software. To create a software, to develop this software, you can call it a project. But once the software is developed, the numerous number of various analysis that you will be doing on that software will not be a project. That will be a general operations and utility, or you can say a product, or you can say utilization. So to clear these things, these are called projects. These 3 examples give you another idea that projects are vast. They cover various more fields together. If you understand how to deliver a project in the construction field, you can very easily understand how to develop a product or how to deliver a project in other field, which can be a software or maybe pharmaceuticals. Intent being different, maybe the understanding of the product will be different. The concepts would be different. But when it comes to the project and project management, the concept remains same. That's why if you understand the project management as a set of few skills, applications, and processes, you can apply those processes in any field as far as it's a project. Let's talk about project management. We discussed what is a project. We categorized what are the different projects, how it's different from operations. If you can give some insights, I have actually talked about it already.
Sir?
If you can give some insights on the project management, what do you understand from that?
Sir, can I?
Yes, sir. Sure.
Sir, project management is to manage or to manage a project in such a way that we complete it in time, or to complete it for achieving our goals by the end of the project, by using this our skills and our knowledge to achieve the goals as far as possible.
Yes, that's very nice. Anyone else want to give some insights? It seems only Nakul is giving interested. Yeah, Akshay. Yeah, we can hear you too.
The completing a activity within a time and without compromising quality.
Okay, nice. So this is one of the definition. What Nakul said and what Akshay said makes a lot of sense, and it's similar to what definition is also saying. It's saying the application of specific knowledge of project management, how to deliver a project, skills, tools, and techniques. Skills is something that you develop, your competencies you develop by your practice, and tools and techniques are there certain tools like initially faculty member Mrs. Neha talked about that there are a few softwares that we are using in the construction industry. These are the examples of some tools like MSP and Primavera. And there are few techniques by which you can deliver something value to the people. This is where I would like to focus more on this, the word value to the people. What we talked about till now, that you have a scope, you deliver scope within time, within budget, within cost, but end of the day, what you really need to deliver is the value. And value, it's very similar to outcome, but I would like to differentiate a little over here. The project management is not only about delivering a project. Delivering a project is a task of project manager. Yes, we understand. But project management, it's even more. It's even more than that. Project management is about delivering value, and value is being delivered when you reap the benefits out of your outcomes. So few examples, like we had a discussion previously. We had an example of 3 examples. We had an example of a project of vaccine. We had a example of construction project and a software project. A project was to deliver the software, right? The outcome of that and the result of that project would have been that you have one software in your hand which is fully functional. That ends your project. But project management is about delivering benefits from that software as well. So if the software is developed and you are not able to utilize it for the purpose it was built, then it's not delivering value to you. That means you had an outcome, but you did not have a benefit. So project management, when we say the adding value to the people, this is project management. A step further, looking out of the project as well. What project is going to build to you. So this gives you a lot of insight that when you build a project, to start with the project, you must have seen, so if you have gone through your content, that we talk about scope management, we talk about time management, and during the scope management, we do talk about the requirements management. The requirements is something you gather in order to build your project. At that time, you understand what exactly your project gonna do. And if you understand not only what outcome of the project, what benefit this project will deliver, if you understand, you have an understanding of that, then you can ask the right questions about the requirements. Because most of the time, stakeholders, they have something in their mind what they want, but they are not able to express exactly what benefits they want out of them. What are their requirements? So if you understand the benefit part of that, you can have an easy understanding of what exactly needs to be asked to your stakeholders, so that you can have a right requirements for the project and you can build the right product. I'll talk about this project management. What we said is like the projects are being built from past 4,000 years ago as well. But what we hear about project management is recently, since mid 20s. It has always been practiced, but informally. The formalization of project management, it happened in mid 20th century. And one of the key factor also is PMI. PMI is an institute, actually. I'll just go to the next slide, where we'll talk about what is Pmi and Pmbok. I'm sure most of you know about these Pmi and Pmbok. We'll just quickly go through it to have a common understanding. PMI is a project management institute. It's a not-for-profit professional membership association. It was developed somewhere in 1970s or 60s. The idea was to have this field of interest formally. Like we said, project management was being practiced very informally before that, but to formalize the whole industry and to gather the best practices across the various fields from globally. There are a group of professionals who came together and they developed few standards, so that what these standards convey is nothing but a set of practices which has been utilized, and they thought about it that they were successful. There were so many projects which have been successfully delivered using these methodologies. So from then on, these all standards have been developed. What the word from standard, I would like to explain one more thing. I'll go to the next slide about Pmbok. Pmbok is the standard developed by the PMI, Project Management Body of Knowledge. When they say standard, the standard means it's a standard of best practices. It's not a code book. It's not a legal book. It's a set of guidelines and terminologies which binds the whole market together in terms of practices and the language. So project management, as we know that projects are very unique. They are going to give you a unique product. That means they're going to pose very unique challenges as well. Whenever the challenges come, you cannot have a set standard to deal with that. You always have your own innovation and creation. So in terms of PMBOK, what it gives you, it gives you a guideline, and it's up to you how do you adopt that guideline to deliver your project. A project which will have different obstacles or different risks will be conducted in different manner. That's what I would like to say at the moment. So to explain what exactly is PMBOK, we can have few more slides on that. How is the structure of PMBOK being created? What are the different groups? What are the different knowledge areas, and how they actually apply to the real world, real time projects? We'll have a practice of that in that session. Okay. So, but before we having the final case study of a project, let's quickly go through a few of the things. If and in case anyone has any questions, you can pause in between. You can ask me those questions, because while we are having this session, it's better to clear your doubts at the moment instead of taking something at the end. I'll talk about little about we understand about what is projects, what is project management, and let's understand what project managers do. I made a statement that when I was working in UAE in one of the construction project, I saw a person who was a project manager who was in charge of that project. It's a G+66 floor building, and he was not from the construction field. When he did his study, when he was learning about the subject, his what his core competencies were initially into the project management, but not the engineering. So what exactly project managers do? Any of you want to give any feedback on that, or were your viewpoint, or is welcome?
Sir.
Yeah. Yes, Nakul.
So project management managers do the thing, they organize the projects or they manage the projects, and they give the instructions by their knowledge to the unknowledgeable persons or unskilled laborers to do these things as by this technical knowledge, and so to manage and so complete the work as far as possible. So it is the project managers and planning the budgets and the requirements of the owners by the project.
Okay. Yes. Anyone else? Maybe don't give the whole idea of what is project manager, but what is the main task of a project manager exactly? What do you look from? Suppose if you want to hire a project manager, and what will be his main I would say the roles and responsibilities of that project manager?
Sir.
Yes.
So to complete work on time and to fulfill owner's requirement and
yes.
Budgeting, sir.
Okay. So yeah, what I understood is like what you're saying is talking about that he has been handed over a project, right? He has been handed over a task to achieve, and his all focus and all mind will go on to how to deliver that project, right? In order to do that, he has to do so many things which can be organized, which can be put into different groups. He needs to have so many skills and competencies. One of them would be basically to understand the sequence of works. Like one of them, you said that was about the planning and the budgeting also. But let's group it into the main few items, or like main few core competencies that a project manager has to have. Because if you say if project manager will be in charge of the budgeting, if he's in charge of the planning, then if it's also he's in charge of organizing the task and also talking to the stakeholder. In a nutshell, that's what project manager do. But he does not do all this alone. He does with a group of people, with his team. Because one person, suppose he's building a multi-story tower, he will not be able to put his time and efforts in all of these areas. So basically, the main thing is one of them is obviously delegation. That's what a manager do. But when I talk about the project managers, the main things what they have to do is to lead, direct, and balance. How do you do that? And what do you understand from them is, first of all, a project like said, it's a unique product. Definitely, it's going to give you unique challenges also. There's no set standards or set frame of work for what you will adopt for each project. Each project will have different challenges. So project manager, first of all, he has to own those challenges. Number one, he has to direct his team to show a path that how you will be achieving this project, how you will be delivering this project, which may be different from project to project. So the ownership is with the project manager. He leads the way, because he more than managing someone, it's better to lead your team, show you the path, and also the first person to walk on that path. That's what you understand from leadership. That's how you deliver the project. And the third part, which is very, very important for any project manager, is to balance. A balance, that's where the other skills and competency come in between, that you balance between risks and the areas that you're going to deliver. You balance the risk with the time. You balance the risk with your cost. You balance the scope, what you are delivering, with your stakeholders also. So these are the different competencies and core competencies that a project manager have to do. Let's talk more about project life cycle and the phases. I'm sure all of you know about this. These are the phases which are penned down by Pmi, and also the in the Pmbok you can understand about this. But what I'll be talking about is like how these phases, instead of looking at the book, how in a real world, in a real project, you can utilize this skills, and how do you work on these different phases in order to develop the project and deliver the project. I'll be giving some live examples on that, where in my current organization, where we have a project, and we have actually divided our work into different phases of the project, and how each phase of the project develops into another phase of the project. And during these phases, we do develop some templates. We develop some we develop some we use some softwares in order to reflect on the stakeholder of the project, that how the project is running and is it under control or not, or what exactly they're going to see by end of the project. Always keep in mind that when we talk about the project, definitely there's a huge investment involved. A project can be small and maybe as big as the $1 billion, but there's always an investment involved, and there's always a project owner who's gonna own that project. It can be a service, can be a product, or it can be a result. All these three has an ownership. A project manager is the one who delivers this, and there's an owner who's investing on that project. So when we talk about delivering the project, we are delivering that project as a project manager to the project owner. Okay. Anyone want to give some insights on this? This slide is in front of you. What do you understand from the project life cycle and the phases? And first of all, why we are reading about them? Why do you want to know about the life cycle and the phases if you want to deliver a project? What is the need of creating these phases? If anyone is interested to talk about it or give his feedback, is welcome.
Sir, to complete the work in the time, or to complete or to achieve our goals by utilizing these methods in our project. So we use it in our project.
Okay, when we talk about the time, what if I say you have endless time? Let's deliver the project. I don't know when you will deliver the project, but it's okay to me. You just deliver the project. So what are the other focuses then?
It's a quality of work.
Okay, which comes in hand. I understand. And how
planning,
find the quality in that case?
project
execution.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Can you please repeat?
Proper planning.
Planning of the project. Okay. And planning is done in order to?
The cost management.
Okay. But what is the need of grouping them into different phases? Okay, I understand these are the different aspects of the project where you have to focus. You have to focus on your scope. You have to focus on your time. Time is of essence most of the time. You have to focus on the cost, because if the project is being delivered but still it's there is an issue.
Sir,
Yeah.
Sir, when we talk about a very big project, it is not possible to complete the project by the work in a single phase. So we divide it into parts, so we can focus on the only one part to complete this part, and by completing this, we can shift on next, the next, so we can improve the quality or
delivery, maybe. Yeah, I understand that. That's the part. If you have a huge project, you want to deliver into different segments, right? And if you deliver the segment, you focus on the another segment, and that's how you deliver the huge projects. That I understand. uh, I would like to talk about project life cycle over here. If you see, this is a very generic project phases we are talking about. These are not. This is from the PMI, but not from the PMBOK. They are talking about you start the project. Okay, there are some bullet points in that, and there are some flags in between. So you start the project, you initiate the project, and once you initiate the project means you have an understanding at this point. What the flags is showing you is it's a milestone that you want to achieve. Means you have a little more understanding about the project by this time. So when you initiate the project, first of all, you just know what you want to develop. You don't have any shape, or you don't have any particular specifications of that to be developed. You inquire about that. Like we said, that end of the day, what a project owner wants is not the outcome, he wants the benefit. So when he comes to you as a project manager, maybe you don't have any idea of what you need to build. We just have an understanding that, okay, I want of something significance. Let's have an example on that. That will be, I think it will be even better. Let's have an example of COVID vaccine. Right? We said that one of the project can be a vaccine to be created. When COVID came, all countries, they wanted to develop a vaccine, right? That was a project for them. But they did not know exactly what exactly they want to build. They want to give a pills, they want to give an injection, they want to give any nasal sprays. No, the idea was just to develop something so that we can solve a problem. And the problem was COVID. So when the project manager started in that way, so initially they were discussing only about what needs to be developed. That's the start of the project. So you have a benefit in your mind, what exactly you want to achieve. Not only benefit, you can say you have a problem in your mind and you want to resolve that problem. So that's the start of the project. From start of the project to organizing and preparing, in between, what you do is you gather the information and you actually give a name to your project, means where you actually identify what exactly you want to build. So after doing some research and also market study, you can come up with that, okay, to give a vaccine to the so huge mass of the people, we are talking about billions and billions of people, it brings another challenges also. What it brings is that logistics, distribution, these challenges are also there. So in order to build a vaccination, we don't have to build only a vaccination which can solve the problem. It should be able to distribute it properly. So one of the requirement of the vaccine came that, okay, it's beneficial to go for vaccine through syringe, but we don't want to store a vaccine at minus 50 degrees, right? Because if you are storing these vaccines at minus 50 degrees, you will never be able to distribute in large scale. So that becomes a hidden requirement, which a stakeholder is not informing to you, but as a project manager, you develop. So that's how you develop your project. So by the time you pass your first flag, you have an understanding that, okay, you need a vaccine, which can be stored at not sub-zero, but at 0 and above degrees. That's become one of the requirement of the project. And also the packing of it should not be very complicated. It should be easily and lightweighted. When you go to organizing and preparing, now you organize or prepare your project in a way that how you're going to deliver. That's the planning part of it. And third part is carrying out the work. Once you have done the plan, you understand that you understand how you're going to deliver the vaccine. But you maybe develop it into different phases, 1, 2, 3, depending on the product itself. But while you carrying out the work, that does not mean you will not go back and plan it again. So the idea of having this phase is so that you can have a clarity. Or you can call it like your project is being progressively elaborated. You don't know about your project at the start of the project, but you can, as you progress on your project, you can elaborate on that. And the reason of delivering the projects into segments is so that you don't end up all wasting your time, and end of the day you are not able to deliver your product. So you keep your controlling part of the project during the project is going on, so that you understand what you are working on it is making sense. Is it still aligned with the end product or the benefit that you wanted to achieve? So this is the reason this project has been divided into different phases. These are the few phases which PMI has adopted. That doesn't mean that everyone in the project industry is involved using the same phases, but Pmi and Pmbok has been one of the biggest institute in the world that the world is recognizing. There are a few more institutes like that, and we'll talk about Pmi and their phases today. That's not because this is the standard that my organization has already adopted. And being a PMO leader, we are using this methodology to deliver all our projects. Okay. We already talked about, I think, these process groups. I will not go in very detail on this knowledge area. I'm sure in your theoretical classes, you will read all of them about. What we will focus on in the first process groups is initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, controlling, and closing. In our projects, what we are doing, we are focusing on these process groups. But I want to clarify one thing for sure, that when you deliver a project, this is not a sequence. All these processes and these phases are iterative. You develop, you start your project, you plan your project, you start executing your project. But while executing your project, it doesn't mean you will not go back and plan your project. If you feel like that what you have done planning, it's not in detail, and you might have to go back and plan it again, you'll go back to the planning and then execute it again. So this is an iterative processes that you keep doing during your project. And monitoring and controlling is the overview of the project, which starts from because as soon as you start the project, even if you have started the initiating part, where you're collecting the requirements from your project owners or the different stakeholders, you still monitor those tasks. You want to understand whatever tasks that I have acquired, are they finalized? Are they in line with what is the capability of your project team or not? So your monitoring and controlling phases start from the start of the project and till the end. That's what this diagram was explaining. If you see in the last one, down you can see the project boundaries. Where there's an initiating process, you can see the monitoring and controlling processes throughout the cycle. Okay. We'll talk about PMO. In order to understand how projects are being delivered, like I said, I'll give you a case study of one of the projects that we have achieved. We need to understand that what is a PMO, because these projects, what has been delivered, are not delivered only by the project managers. It's being delivered by a group of people in the organization, which is PMO. What was the need of this PMO and what exactly PMO does? I'll just give you an example that since we are a contracting company, we have our own group of people in the company who are expertise in project management. But we are taking care of 10 to 15 projects at a time, and each of them projects are having different goals and different outcomes. PMO is just a centralized department so that they can have an overview of all the projects together. We don't deliver the project, but we support, because there's so many resources that you have in the organization that has to be distributed evenly. and all these projects are equally beneficial to the company. So the distribution has to be in terms of the priority of the projects, which is taken care by the centralized department. That was the need of a PMO department in my organization. That's why we developed that department. We are a group of 3 to 4 people in the department who not delivers but supports the projects.
Sir,
Yeah.
so PMO is
who's
a different section.
Yeah, Akshay. Yeah, tell me.
Sir Nakul. Sir, PMO is a different section in a construction industry, and what is the role of this PMO in to conduct the construction or the project?
Okay. I'll tell you. PMO it's not a different industry. First of all, what we are talking about, project management is a separate industry. But you understand that project management is required in all different industries, whether you're talking about civil, whether you're talking about mechanical, an organization who's constructing, who's delivering construction projects, maybe more than one. They have expertise in project management, right? But an organization who's gonna, an organization a pharmaceutical industry, a company who manufactures the vaccine, suppose, I'm just giving you an example. Their expertise may not be in the projects. Their expertise is in the manufacturing, in the operations part, right? But that doesn't mean that they don't need a project management. One of the way of having a growth in their own industry is to deliver few projects, right? And if you have more than one project at a time, you might need to have there's a need in the company itself to create a department which will take care of all the projects. When I take care of all the projects, what exactly PMO is being built for is, first of all, to maintain the standards. It's not about which standard or which code book you will adopt. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is like how this company will deliver all its projects. What will be the structure of a project? If a project comes from any of the organization, what are the different methods that you can adopt? So PMO is developed in a way to strengthen that bond. It gives you the training within the organization I'm talking about. It provides all the supporting templates. It provides the core competencies also, because if my main business in the organization is to manufacture, I will not be spending so much time in having a planner with me. So that's where PMO comes. PMO can have a planner or coordinator within the department. If and when a need arises in the organization, maybe some other department, they have a requirement of that competency, they can contact PMO. In my organization, the PMO was developed only for the projects. So our company is already delivering the projects. The need was to have a centralized department where we can have a smooth flow of resources. That was the requirement. I hope I answered your question. If you have add on that, please let me know.
You, sir.
Yeah. Okay. We'll have a case study of this project. This is one of the project that we already completed. This is a refrigeration project. We constructed a refrigeration plant that's in UAE, and these are the few phases that we documented and we adopted this PMI methodology for this particular project. And I'll take you through all of these phases where which documents we developed, how we go from one document to another document, how what this particular document brings in, and what types of skills and competencies you need. I'll go through that. Okay. If you have any questions up till now, you can ask me. And if you want me to go to in a certain flow, you can tell me that as well. Anyone? Okay, so let's take it.
Sir,
Yeah.
Rohit sir, there is one question in the chat box. What services should a PMO provide?
PMO, like I said, PMO actually is considered as an excellence center within an organization for project management. So, day in, day out, they live with the project management. What they provide is the best practices. Okay. And if I elaborate it further, is like they provide even the templates and also the process flow. They are the one who makes the process flow within the organization for any project. Because project in any organization can be built by one department, but there are certain supporting departments which are involved in projects in one way or another. So the communication and the process of project department to any other department can be smoothly interacted through PMO. So PMO holds that role where it will be interacting with the different stakeholders, with the various supporting departments, and helping the project manager and the project team to deliver the project. That can be one of the services. Like I said, a second one can be it can provide you core competencies also. Suppose if you are working on a very small project where you don't want to spend a lot on the different designations or different roles, you want a planning, you don't want a planner to be full-time for a project. These competencies can also be provided by the PMO, like it's happening in my company. PMO is delivering the planning part of the project is handled by the PMO. That's another service we can say. And the third, which I would talk even more generic, not only the project management, but at the executive levels, what PMO does is it gives you a visual representation of all the projects to your stakeholders at executive level. So that executives means what I'm talking about with the executives is the decision makers in your organization. If you're having more than one project, they can always have a look on the project and understand which project is going in which way, and so that they can make the very informed decisions on their investments. Like all the projects are within the organization cannot be of the same depth or same functionality. So at senior level, at investment level, the executives, they always have to take some tough decisions based on the data. That data is provided by the PMO. That analyses are provided by the PMO. So these are the three examples I can give on the PMO that PMO brings in this to the table for an organization. But first and foremost, the main thing is they are considered as the excellence of project management. So they understand how the projects are being delivered. I hope I have answered your question. So we'll move to this some case study of this. Like I said, we had this project of refrigeration plant UAE. I'm sorry that maybe I will not be able to give all the information with regards to the project. There are some confidential information also which I have hidden few down. But we'll go through these different phases that when a project comes in our company, what exactly we understand and how do we deliver that project. So this project is a construction of a refrigeration plant in UAE. We get we do enter in the tendering stage, being a contracting firm. We put down the tender, and once we get the job in hand, the job is being delivered to PMO. So there's a transition within the organization that a job which comes or which is taken care by the sales that has been handed over to PMO to deliver the project. Like initially, we discussed about the benefits and also the outcomes. The benefit of this particular project is that once the refrigeration plant is built, the client will be able to, it will be able to store some items in that cold store. What we build is a cold store, which have a different temperature control mechanism. So if you want to put some items inside that warehouse, It can be controlled at a temperature sub-zero or 0 degree at even 5 degrees Celsius. So this is the outcome of the project. This is what my organization does. And once we get the project in our hand, we go through the initiation, planning, execution, and closing the project. One thing I would like to talk about here is that since our projects are they are repetitive, and the product that we are delivering is the refrigeration, but they are not same. Each refrigeration plant is different, but the essence of it, because you do it over and over again and again and again, you have an idea of an understanding of how it will be delivered. However, when you actually deliver a project for site, all the sites are different. Their topography is different, their sequence of working is different, their requirements are different. But in order to solve those issues and working in a set platform, you develop these phases. The work inside these phases will be repetitive. It will be same for all the projects. But what is the essence inside, whatever you're delivering on site? Suppose you are constructing a refrigeration plant or doing some piping. It will be different have a different routing for each project. If you want to compare it with a construction project, I would say that we understand there are certain activities you do in a construction project. Suppose I'm building a building, you understand that you have to do the substructure, then the structure. And while you're doing the structure, you can have the brickworks, the external masonry can be done. And once your external masonry is done, you can go inside and start doing the finishing work and other MEP services you can do. This set platform is there, but it will be different for each project. A project which will be which is a row house or which is a construction of a tower, the activities remain same, but their interactions and their interconnection is slightly different from each project. So we'll go to this project. These are few phases that we have developed for one of our project, and it's divided into initiation, planning, execution, and close. Like we said, in initiation phase, once the project is being delivered or it's been handed over from sales to PMO department to deliver, this is where we realize the project. We understand that there are certain things which are already penned down. We have a contract and we know what we need to deliver. But like for any other project, there are some hidden requirements, so which you need to extract from your stakeholders. You have a brainstorming session for that. You have a discussion with your stakeholders. When I talk about stakeholders, it can be internal, external, both. But external stakeholders are one which are associated with the project in any way. So the scope of stakeholders become very large. When you talk about the stakeholders, it's not only the project owner, but it is also the one who's going to be associated with the project. But when it comes to the requirements, usually we take our requirements from the one who's investing in the project. So we go to the client who's giving the project and we talk to them to understand exactly what is their requirement, in what certain way they want us to deliver. To pen down, and once all the requirements are gathered, you need to have a structure to declare within your organization, okay, this is what we want to deliver, and it has been penned down. The reason of penning it down or putting it in a paper is so that you can always have a tracking of what exactly you are delivering. So this marks the end of first phase, you can say, the initiation phase, where you have developed a project charter. You have gathered all the information of the project. That includes the scope, also your budget, also your timeline, also the hidden requirements, in what phases you want it to be delivered. Maybe I'm delivering a project which has 3 warehouses, and my client wants the priority on the first warehouse. So I will develop it in that fashion. This is a charter template, which I hope you can see on screen, right? Can you see the PDFs on the screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I have hidden few information on that, which is only confidential to the company. But this is the project charter, which exactly gives you the whole information of the project, and this charter actually declares the requirement of the project. From a PMO, we develop this charter and we hand it over to the project manager. This gives us a milestone where project manager understand what exactly he has to deliver, and there is a flow of the flow of information, you can say, or the flow of responsibility is also being transferred. So it has a basic information about the project, what type of project it is, what are the finish date that has been established with the project owner or with the client, where it is located. We tend to give the team members of the project. One of the role of our PMO is to deliver the resources also, so that it is our responsibility at this time that we build a key team of the project. We designate a project manager, we designate a project engineer, supervisor, design engineer, and project planning. I can tell you this project planning in this project was done by PMO also. One of the member of PMO, he was doing the project planning. So that also answers one of the question, that this is also one of the service that PMO provides. So we have a full-time project planner in a PMO department, and whenever the need arises, we give him for that project. A charter, it's a very when you develop this, it has to be brainstorming is required. So we always put the attendees also on that, who all attended the meeting and what was their feedback, so that it has to be documented. It gives you another information for a few more things, like what are the project external stakeholders. Like I said, stakeholders are, it is not something that you talk to them at the start of the project and then you deliver the project. They are in contact with you continuously, because end of the day, whatever outcome that you're going to deliver, even though you are documenting it, what if a stakeholder, his requirement changes within the project? Then whatever you are delivering will not have hold, even though it will have you will finish the project on time maybe, but you will deliver the outcome also, but it will not deliver value to him. So that's where the stakeholder engagement also come into the picture, that he's always in coordination with you during the project. So we depend on those things, and they're always in coordination during the project building phase. Few of the milestones, project value and project budget has been finalized and given to the project manager. These three things are specifically for a project manager to deliver. Like I said, he will not be a hands-on on all of these things. He will have his own team to deliver the project, where we gave him the project supervisor, engineer, and few more members of the project. But he is the accountable person for all these like attributes of the project. In PMI, you must have learned about that. PMI talks about three major attributes of the project. They talk about scope, time, and cost, and along with the quality. And one of the examples they give for the project itself is like, it needs to be delivered within scope, within cost, and within time, with the designated quality of the project. So that becomes the main essence of the project as well. And this has been given to our project manager to deliver. These are the different contract information and annexure documents that we give along with this project charter for the project manager. And we basically he became accountable for that, and that marks the end of one of the, you can say, one of the phase of which is called initiation phase. So when we finish this initiation phase, what we have in hand is like, we have a project team, we have an understanding of the project, what we are going to deliver. We have the milestones of the project, that what milestones has to be achieved, like when the design phase will be finished, when the procurement phase will be finished. Not in detail, but at least the start and end of those phases. And at least we understand the different phases of the project. Do you need an engineering for this phase? Are you going to design a separate product of this phase? These understandings are already there. So this phase ends the mark of the initiation phase of our project. And then we move on to the planning phase. In the planning phase, This is where we use certain tools also, because planning it's comprises of two or three, I would say, different major aspects. Planning is about, first of all, understanding the project and listing down, okay, listing down of all the project requirement into different tasks that you're gonna do. In order to deliver something, definitely you have to work, right? And your work has to be divided in an organized fashion. This is where the expertise in the field comes, okay? And this is where I wanted to clarify that even though when we said that project manager is the one who takes the accountability of time management and cost management, however, he delegates these tasks to the subject matter experts. We call them SMEs, subject matter experts. An expert who's into the planning, who has been using the tools from number of years, will have more efficiency while utilizing that tool, rather than a project manager whose main focus is on various other fronts. So he will be using a subject matter expert in order to have more efficiency. In our organization, we are using Microsoft Project and Primavera both as a tool, which is both are very comprehensive tools, I would say, for planning. What exactly these tools do is like they provide the visualization of your project, I would say. Whatever you're going to build, in order to visualize and to talk about, it's better to have in a piece of paper. So if you can, communicate through these programs that what you are building, what are the different tasks that you will be finishing in order to give your outcome, how these tasks are sequenced. This sequencing means what are the relationships about this task. Okay, this gives you the duration also, and also it gives you a sense of responsibility that who will do what task. So here I will give you an example of what exactly we do for our project. Like I said, when we do the planning, that doesn't mean that planning will be done one time and you move on to the execution. These are the interactive processes. You start with the planning at the start of a project with whatever information you have. The information that you build in the initiation stage, you have enough information to put it on paper, the task that you will do. And once you start executing the project, maybe you will have even more information, more detailed information, more precise information. You go back to your planning board and develop your planning even further. This whole process is iterative, and we call it progressively elaborated projects. So here are some examples when we develop our projects. We develop into the preliminary program works, which is very basic one to start with. And usually when we start executing, you have the different programs like revision 0, 1, 2, like that. You can have your programs. I'll show you, it's in PDF, but these have been developed in MSP. Okay.
What is the MSP?
Microsoft Project. It is a software tool which is used for the planning purposes. It's a software. Okay. So it's Microsoft Project, MSP. Another software which is very widely used in the industry is Primavera, especially for construction fields. So the essence of this software, it's a tool. Like I said, the project management is about skill, knowledge, and tools and techniques. So this is one of the tools to work on the project management. But the understanding of it comes from the knowledge and the competency. Okay. So this is the software that we use, MSP, and here I'll just give you a structure. We'll not go in detail of what exactly we have built. But when we said that we had a charter, right? We had different milestones. We put those milestones first. Like these, we can say these bullet points are the milestones which we knew initially at the start of the project. And in between information we developed. Okay. This is a very preliminary program where we divide the project work into different phases. You can see this 1.4 is the delivery phase. Before that, we were talking about the engineering phase, and then the site installation phase, and end of the day, we do the commissioning. So these 4 phases are penned down into the list of tasks. In front of them, we define that how much each task should take as a duration, and we end up with making a start and finish date. Few of these bars on the right hand side, we can say that there are some arrows. These arrows are nothing but the relationship which define, or we can say which can provide the constraints as well. Like this particular task cannot be finished unless until this task is finished. So this kind of relationship we show, and that is where the core competency of the understanding or engineering of the field is required. So if you have done your civil engineering and you are managing a construction project, it will be easier for you to understand how the sequencing work. And yeah, that's why these tasks in the project manager are given to the subject matter experts. Okay. These red bars on the right hand side, it shows in the program are the critical tasks. I'm sure in your theoretical class also you will read about the float. What is the float? How you find the critical path, right? There are different ways of finding it. This software helps you in doing that. You feed in the information from your project point of view, and what you get out of that software is this output. This is a Gantt chart of that project. And on the right hand side, all the red tasks are critical path, and we have derived more than one critical path of the project. So this is what I want to reflect on that. If you have any questions on that, I think it would be even better. You can ask questions on the time so that I can explain. Anyone has any?
Sir, how much critical paths we can consider in one project, so we can minimize it, or what is the?
Yeah, okay, I understood your question. You mean see, in the software when you put in the information, okay, you are basically forecasting, right? You are planning your project, and you understand maybe your paths. You have more than one critical path. Now it depends on the project manager, to be honest, that how many critical paths he wants in his project, and what is the essence of this critical path. First of all, the essence of critical path is basically for the project manager to understand that these are those tasks. If they are delayed even by one unit, that unit can be hours or days, depends on which unit you have used for your program. Even if it changes by one unit, it will affect the target date of the project. So if you have two such paths, that means you have to focus on the two paths, because any one of them, if it get delayed, it will delay your next milestone, you can say, or completion of the project. And if you have three such tasks, you have to focus on the three tasks. So as a manager, it depends upon you how many tasks can you actually focus on at a time. If you say, okay, two tasks are enough, depending on the task and their duration also, and also depending on the constraints within those tasks, you can have that flexibility. And also it depends on the project manager. And that is where the standardization and PMO also comes. One of the service of a PMO is to standardization of methodology within the organization. So PMO can say, okay, in our organization, whatever projects that you will deliver, we will not allow more than 2 or 3 tasks. So they can put a constraint even on the project manager from organization point of view. So, and the reason of that is that so that the effort, how much effort you want to take or focus on those tasks. Because if you have more than 2 paths, maybe you have to focus more on your schedule. And as a project manager, maybe you cannot allow your project manager to focus too much on your schedule. He has to focus on the cost and also the stakeholder engagement. Keeping those things in mind, you can drive to that situation, that how many paths you want. In our organization, we take care of 2 to 3 paths. More than 3 paths, it's something out of hand. That means what you are planning is very risky. You have to change your plan a little, and that's what we do. I hope that this is
yes sir.
I'll show you another program that this was developed at initial stage. That's why it was the preliminary program, and it was being updated throughout the time of the project also. This was a 6 months project on site, and what we end up making this program is this is the last vision we did. So if you have seen, the first program which we developed had 30 activities in total. And by the time we finished the program, it was not the tracking sheet, it's again the program. We end up with 55 activities. So the essence of telling this is that when you progress within your project, you get more information and more precise information. So this planning is not a one-time job. You keep planning an iterative job, and you progressively elaborate your program within your project life cycle also. So when we talk about these different phases of the project, like initiation, planning, execution, and monitoring, what we have adopted in our organization is like the 3 phases: planning, execution, monitoring, and control. They go hand in hand. They're continuous from start and end of the project. And if a time arises that the planning has gone so wrong, or there are so many variables within the project, or there are so many changes or requirements, you go back to the initiation as well. You change the program. This is where the variations come in our organization.
Sir, we have that freedom to change the whole plan.
Yes. See, planning, it's about putting on paper what exactly you're going to do. But while doing the plan, and you understand whatever you have planned is not going to work at all. And can be, it's not about fault finding, but it's about understanding that what you are forecasting, is it possible or not? During the project, if you understand that, okay, it can be any reason. Huh? When I say maybe the scope has changed, right? For our projects, it happens quite a fine times that when we start delivering the project, the scope, the requirement comes from the stakeholder, right? And if he changes his requirement, the scope is definitely going to change. Our idea is to get as much as requirement at start of the project so that such things does not happen, but they are inevitable. Few of them might happen, and there's no harm in changing your program on a whole level. There's no point on that. So you have a flexibility of changing the program. However, whenever you change the program and you are tracking the program in between, you baseline the program. So whatever you have done before, it still is in the records. You don't erase the records. Your records remain same. Whatever you are going to do in the forecast, you have a flexibility to make a change. Okay. From planning, I would go to the execution phase. These phases, I'm telling you from the PMO point of view, these are not the only documents that we develop, but these are the documents that I could have shown. And I will come to the next part, that once you have done the planning, now you have given that plan to your project manager to execute. He have a look at that program. He develops his own team. It's been given by PMO in our organization, but he has a flexibility to, again, gather his own team later on as well. And there has to be some staffing done on site, which actually does the installation. There has to be some staffing to be done for prefabrication in the workshop. That is done by project managers. They do their daily work, and project manager basically, he relies on PMO in our organization to have a tracking of his project. This tracking is in terms of resources and date and time. I mean, resources, time, and cost. These 3 things which are focused upon. Regardless to say that there are certain other areas also that project manager is looking into. He's continuously looking into the stakeholder engagement, where he's engaging. PMO is also a stakeholder for a project manager. He's engaging with the external stakeholders. He's continuously doing the risk management. He is checking that one of the reason of having a critical path in your program of work is the risk management, because it shows you the risk of your project. If you have multiple critical paths in your program, you have more risk, and you always want to mitigate your risk to make it less risky, so that you can have less uncertainties during your program. What we develop in our organization, again, we have used MSP. If we use MSP for one project, we continuously use it for all the tasks. We use it for planning, we use it for tracking, and we also use it for reporting. So through MSP, for this project, we have been continuously making few reports. I would just not show you all the reports, but these I'll show you the essence of what exactly this report gives you end of the day. I'll show you here two programs which was prepared from tracking point of view. And these programs are not only giving you the forecast, it is giving you the status of the project as well. The reason I showed you this one is to understand during the project, when you are actually in the executing, you want to understand how your project is doing. Is it the last date or the in-between milestone which you have initially forecast is going to met, or there are some changes? And if they are out of sync, they are not going to meet, what additional decisions that you can take in order to make it on track as well. So this is the same program which has been developed again and again. And you see, when we talk about the planning, remember that we were talking about the baseline. When you make a first program and give it to the project manager to execute, you document it. You document it for the tracking purposes. And that's why you baseline it. The baseline is something which never changes for any project. It is the start and finish date, which you can forecast later on. So this report, which was prepared, it was prepared around this time of the project. And any data which is behind this green line is the actual data. This is what actually happened in the project. And the remaining one is the forecast. The yellow, all these yellow colored bars are the baseline tasks. And green color tasks are the tasks which are finished. And blue tasks are the forecast tasks. Here you can start seeing that this yellow task and the green task are not matching or not in sync. That means this particular task was baseline to be finished from this date to this date. In actual, it skipped from its date. However, the last target date has been slipped a little. They are in the critical path. And even though we have delayed few tasks and other task has been completed on time, you can see the last task, which is the commissioning task. The yellow one is ahead of the red one. That is, we are going to finish before time. We are going to finish the baseline task, which was about to be finished over here. We are going to finish before time. So this gives you three things. It gives you a forecast. It gives you a status report, what you have done in your project, how much was planned at this time, how much was completed in percentages, and the understanding of each task where you are going to finish so that you can make your decisions accordingly. Do you have any questions on this one? Do you understand why we use MSP or why we use any tool to track our project, and what is the significance of our tracking?
Yes, sir.
I'll go back to this one. What we have done up till now is understand that initiation, planning, and execution. We plan the project, we execute. During execution project, we keep tracking the project. And during that, I have not shown you any cost reports here, which is I will not be able to show at the moment. But maybe we can have it if you need to have some other understanding of the cost. I will not be able to give for the company, but I can give you some other examples later on. And once the project is delivered, the most important part for any project management institute is that to have a closeout report. And now, what is the essence of this report? I will give you. The closeout phase is a phase where you gather all the information which is finished. Okay, you make a closeout report while delivering the project, and the significance of this is in terms of three aspects. First of all, you can compile all the documents and hand it over to the project owner, okay, which is called the as-builts. Second, you can have the sessions where you will take some learning from your project. Since each project, end of the day, it's not going to deliver the same product. It will not impose the same challenges. That means at every project that you do, you will have some new learnings, right? Whenever you overcome some obstacles, you overcome the obstacles, you end of the day, you learn. So it's very important for any organization to record those learning so that when he is doing the next project, they can take that with them. This whole process is called lessons learned, where you take the lessons from the project. It can be in terms of anything. It can be in terms of time, even your product. You have more understanding of what exactly you are building. You have more experience, more competency as an organization. All these things can be penned down. These what you say, the lesson learned can come from even from project manager, and it can even come from the person who's on site fabricating the pipe. All of them have their own learning. PMO helps in that, in collecting all this information and document it. This is called lesson learned, and the closeout reports or lesson learned in later on in your organization can help you to improve further. This is the second, you can say, what do you say? This is the second reason for you to have a closing report. And the third reason is basically is to have a sustenance. When we talk about the projects, we said that projects are temporary endeavor, right? Temporary, they have a start and they have an end point. But what you build, what you give as an outcome, it can be a software, it can be a building, it can be anything. It's an outcome which will be utilized by the project owners or end users. We can call them end users. During the time when they will use this product, they will have certain doubts, or they want to understand how this product has been built. Closing phase is for that as well. For our refrigeration industry or any other mechanical industry, there's something called OMM. This is operations manual. We build that to have basically to hand over the information. So this is another aspect of a closing phase. For us, I'll show you in PMO, what we do is just one closeout report. Again, this is done in different, using different tools, but I have made it in PDF and I can show you what tools we are using. I'll just give you a structure. Let's not go in deep on that. I don't want to make it very theoretical. So if you see this closeout report, we have again put it into different segments. These segments are again divided into initiation, planning, monitoring, and closeout documents. And each of these documents are compiled in one report, so that after a few years, whenever, even if the project has been handed over and a new project manager comes after a few years, or someone new comes in the company who wants to look how the projects have been done in the past, so that you can make an improvement, you can have this report as a lessons learned. Not only as a lessons learned, also as a historic information also. So when you read this Pmbok, I think maybe if you want to read from your syllabus point of view, you will see there are so many different areas, knowledge areas, inputs and outputs. And one of the input you will see in most of your processes is the historic information. So what I'm showing you right now is nothing but the historic information of a project. It gives you what the charter was built. In the charter, you will have the milestone, what was the initial milestones that will never change. And also in the progress reports, you will see that when you in actual delivered those milestones. So you can have a variance that how the project was progressed, how it was developed, how the reports were conducted during the project, and then you have a last lessons learned and a client feedback also. So this is in a nutshell what we do in the PMO for any one project. Now I will go back to the presentation and keep the session open for any questions and answers. If anyone, this is where I finish my session actually.
Yes, sir.
To have
Sir?
any questions for not only for our organization, but for a project management as a whole.
Sir?
Yes, Nago?
Sir, how we build our career in project management field, and what are the different softwares we can learn, so we can build our career.
See, when you come out of a fresh graduate, like I would say as a civil engineer, what we discussed over here is a project management, right? Until 4 years or 5 years of experience when I was working in the construction, I had no idea about project management. But what I learned when I came to know about these PMI certifications, what I understood that all these 4 or 5 years, what I was learning is the bits and pieces of project management. Okay, when I was doing the construction, I was doing the estimation of a project. I was doing the planning of a project using any software. I was involved a little bit with the coordination, project coordination, transferring the information. Then at macro level, I understood project management is all about this. So to answer your question, I'll tell you that from construction point of view, I think Primavera is the software to go for. This will again, it's a tool. It will not I would say it will not help you to plan the whole project, but at least you will have an understanding of the tool. So Primavera is one of the software which is go-to software. MSP also is one of the software, because if you learn this software, there are very high salaries, I would say, in this market. People, when I talk about in project management, we talk about the subject matter experts. The way you want to learn project manager is to, I would say, is to step on the ladders. Okay, one of the ladder is you can start with the planning, and in order to do a planning for a project, you can have a understanding of a software, and then you can have the ladders up where you can actually deliver the whole project. You can join any courses if you want to join for Primavera or MSP. Primavera being more utilized in the construction industry, I would recommend that one. And as far as the software is concerned, it's all about practice, to be honest. So at your stage, I would say go for the Primavera. Again, sorry, I don't want to make it in a monolithic path. This is not the only way. This is the way which I adopted. That's why I'm telling that. Software in the industry which is going on at the moment is the BIM. It's not a software, I'm sorry to say. It's a Revit is the software. To give you more focus is or give an understanding that 20 years back we were just working on the hard drawings, pen and paper with the blueprints, and then in our area in construction we came up with the AutoCAD. Everyone started using the AutoCAD, where you can have more frequent drawings, right? More accuracy on your drawings. And since past few years, especially in this part of the world, people are using Revit as a software to do the engineering drawings. So this is also one software, I think, where you can develop your career in. If you have an understanding of Revit, you can jump into BIM, which is the next go-to thing.
Thank you, sir.
So there is again one question from the student. What is the primary objectives of PMO, and in what way we gain the support from PMO?
Support from PMO?
Yeah.
Okay. We discussed about this. I'll try to put it into some different perspective now. Think about an organization which continuously deliver projects, right? Okay. And an owner of this organization, or say the CEO of this organization, he has 3 to 4 different project managers. He has 5 to 10 project engineers, or maybe he has a workforce of 100 to 200, skilled workers on site. I'm talking about maybe a construction organization. At a time, from CEO point of view, they are doing 10 projects. Or these 4 or 3 project managers, they're handling 2 projects at a time, right? And he's utilizing some resources from the resource pool. The interaction or management of these resources from one project manager to another project manager will be very cumbersome. If you have a centralized department who holds these resources, who also understand what, as an CEO, how many, which projects are the priority, because how much you want, but you cannot do everything, right? You might want to, do 1,000 projects with 10 people, but it doesn't happen. So from practicality point of view, you want a centralized, group of people who will be looking at all these projects at a time. Because a project manager will be looking at his project, he will not be looking at another project. The streamlined flow of this, resources will be very difficult. So this is where the essence of PMO comes. You build a PMO who understands the project. Okay, number one, who understands how the projects are delivered, and also who takes all the projects in a basket. He puts all the projects in a basket, and they will be focusing on two things: how to deliver the projects, and also what a management is looking at. So there becomes a bridge from the project management to the CEO, I can say, in this perspective. And the second part of your question, you're saying is like, I'm sorry, actually I forgot the second part, but you're talking about what do services they can deliver, right? PMO?
Yes. In what way we gain the support from PMO?
Support from PMO.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, PMOs are different types of PMOs, right? You can develop a PMO who is a supporting PMO. Now this I'm talking about the CEO point of view. What example we had, that a CEO, he wants to develop a PMO who will only support all the project managers. We can have one type of that kind of PMO. A second kind of PMO is the one where CEO says, okay, the whole accountability is on the PMO to deliver all the projects. Okay, so the understanding of the PM, that means all the project managers are under the PMO. We can say that also. So that kind of PMO will be a controlling or directing PMO. I'll give you an example of a supporting PMO. A supporting PMO will support project manager with the transfer of resources. They will allocate all the resources. Second service they will provide the planning and report of your, they will provide the planning and the report to the project managers. That's the second service that PMO will provide. And the third service that PMO will provide is the reporting at higher level, where reporting of portfolio of all the projects are being present to CEO. That's the third service a PMO can provide. Our organization is providing all the three services.
Sir?
Yeah.
So it is possible that we create a whole different project management company that gives the different companies services to planning or manage their projects.
Absolutely. There are so many companies. It's a big business as well. We call them project management professional organization, or we must have talked about PMCs, project management consultants. So in a big projects and a mega projects, I would say, there are owners who wants to do investment, right? They do not understand the project. Okay, all they know is they want to invest. They are economists. They want to invest and they want to report the benefits. That's the only thing they want to focus on. So in order to hire the contractors and the consultants and everyone, someone has to manage all these things. An organization which has a inbuilt capability, which has people who can manage the projects, might not consider this option. But those organizations where there's no inbuilt capabilities. Let me give you an example. Let me think of an example. Okay, in UAE, we have an organization, Majid Al Futtaim. Okay, they are a very big group of companies. Okay, and they're into various sectors. When I say sectors, they are into motor, they are into automobile, they are into the civil construction. But as a company, they will not have any project managers inbuilt who's a civil engineer who understand the construction. They will not have those people. They will hire these people as a separate organization. So the answer to your question is yes, very much it's possible, and it is a big business. There are companies who are giving these services as a project management consultant services. So all those discussion what we have that project management, how it's being conducted, this has been transferred by the investors to them, and then they take over the project. They control the project, they control the consultants and also the contractors in order to build an outcome and deliver benefits to the clients, investors. So it is possible, yes.
Thank you, sir. So can we take internship in the project management field?
Internship in terms of, I don't understand. You want on-ground experience you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. See, when I say as a fresh graduate, obviously you can have internship. There are so many courses also. The courses give you an example, like gives you an understanding of theoretical part. But when you say on-ground experience, I would suggest, I would rather recommend is that first understand, maybe have a course, understand what is the project management is all about. And then you can go to any field, any industry or any project itself. You will not have a separate, hands-on experience on project management, but in bits and pieces. When you go to the, if you have an understanding of project management and you go to a site, suppose, okay, you go to a site and you see the construction is happening. In your mind, since you have an understanding of different phases, how the construction is being done on site, when you are standing and when you are seeing the project is being delivered, you can actually connect it way that there has been some planning also done. And with the planning, there have been some brainstorming session done. I'm sure there's someone who's doing the procurement or cost budgeting at the same time. There's someone who's doing the quality inspection at that time. So that is the hands-on experience, I would say. And with the understanding of this subject, you go to the site and you understand from your project manager itself what are the different things he's doing. And those experiences you can gain. So that's the hands-on experience you can get.
Okay, sir. I think we should go for our vote of thanks.
Okay.
Okay, so now I would request Abuli ma'am to give a vote of thanks.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Just one slide show for the students if they want to be in.
Yeah. No problem.
In future for any of the regarding project management or any of the software they want to learn.
Yeah. No problem. Sir, you can.
Yeah. So people can note down my email and LinkedIn address and they can contact.
Students, if you have any query, you can ask them through their mail ID, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now I would request Abuli ma'am to give the vote of thanks. Hello.
Yes, thank you, Neha ma'am. I, Aboli Ravikar, Assistant Professor in Department of Civil Engineering at Dr. D.Y. Patil Institute of Technology, Pimpri, Pune, take this opportunity to deliver vote of thanks for the webinar. On behalf of Civil Engineering Department, I would like to thank our industry expert, Engineer Rohit Sharma, to provide the insights of the subject and the field. I extend my heartfelt thanks to our management, Honorable Dr. P.D. Patil sir and Honorable Dr. Somnath Patil sir for their continuous support. I express my sincere thanks to our principal, Dr. Pramod Patil sir and Dean Academics, Dr. Urmila Patil madam for their constant support and encouragement. I am very thankful to HOD, Dr. Deepa Joshi for the support and guidance she has extended to all of us throughout the event. I am thankful to my colleague, Mrs. Neha Bagdia, for cooperating and making this webinar a success. I am very happy that all our second year students have taken the benefit of today's session. Thank you very much.
I also would like to thank you, Rohit sir. In your busy schedule, you have given us such a valuable time to our students. And I hope in the future also, I will expect the same help from you.
Sure.
Yes.
I'm really, pleased.
Yes.
The idea when you approached me, the reason that I understood that when you're in your education, it's very difficult to think about what exactly is the practicality of the things that you are reading.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to help in future as well.
Thank you.
Students,
Thank you so much, sir.
The attendance and feedback link is given in the chat box. Just fill that link